do you guys remember, if you guys remember what happened in that meeting, at what point did you hear him say, this one I am very certain of predicting? This prediction I'm very confident of. Do you guys remember?
No, I'm trying to think about it.
Well, it was when he's talking about bots. And he said, my
Okay.
prediction is Tesla's long-term value is optimist. This prediction I'm very confident on. I want to show this 1-minute video of bots. I just can't stop looking at this, so I want to show it. Holy, holy, holy. So let me tell you this. If a company was doing nothing but bots and they showed me that video and I was able to confirm evidence that this is real, every one of those was doing that thing, I'd be going all in on that company alone. If they had no auto revenue, they had no energy, I'd be going all in with all my money in that video, because what I'm seeing, if these are real, these are 5-6 bots.
He said they were real.
Yeah, and they are. I've had a number of experts that have scoured these videos, and they've proven that they are not CGI. They're not just kind of like taking little pieces. Every time you see a new video, there's updates to the bot, but you can see the dexterity. You can see what it can actually do today. Those bots can do work. Okay. And it's just what was explained to me is that if the work is very, very specifically designed, like moving one item to another item, and able to do it in a timed way, that's enough. That thing can be put in a factory and work, and it's not yet to the level that we are all expecting it to be, but it can already put to work. So they're progressing pretty quickly. I'm just pumped about this. What did you guys think? Yeah,
I finally agree with you.
Perfect.
That if you ask me the number one reason I would invest in Tesla, it would be that. That to me was amazing. Like when I see that bot walking and it did that, like I thought that was the best part of the meeting. For me, it's bot is everything, because bot, like I said before, it's doable. It's something you can do. You don't need government get involved. Maybe you can do it, maybe you can't. Like we can see it getting better and better, and they're working on it. You see the team working on it. That is the number one reason to own Tesla long term is Tesla bot, in my opinion.
Yeah, what I like about their approach to Tesla bot is they very early on set a unit economics target, excuse me, for the bot. And they set one that's achievable, and they set one that's fairly inexpensive. And I'm sure that's what they're battling internally right now is, okay, here's the functionality we're seeing in prototypes. Here's where we're at in terms of like performance, and here's where we're at from cost, and what are the trade-offs. Tesla isn't just, they're not just tinkering and building, $1 million, production level prototypes that will never scale. The same approach to FSD, where they put the cost structure in kind of the network they're building with Dojo and with the OpEx and the engineering team. And they said, the variable cost of FSD in each automobile, we're going to minimize to this very small number so we can put it in every single car. And I see them taking the same approach with bot, which means, so not only do these videos get me excited in terms of like, capability and how quickly they've advanced in the development process, I know in the background that Tesla is designing their bot like they design their cars, and they're designing something that can actually scale.
Jeff, I'd like to push back. I learned some non-public information. Just kidding. I've confirmed that the plants that are in the factory are real, and we have seen the bot pick up the watering can. So I think the first job that the bot's going to have is going to be to water the plants and not actually move stuff from one place to the other.
Yeah, they'll start with small repetitive tasks, and I think it'll move to small assembly steps in the factory. I think material movement. The first thing that anybody does in a factory, by the way, there are robots in factories today. They're not bipedal, but there's obviously, you see the assembly arms, you see those the dreadnoughts, and then there are material robots that actually run on tracks in many different factories. But they're going to be able to take material movement and kind of this repetitive assembly piece. I think are the first things they're going to go after. And that's the number one labor component right now to build products around assembly and material movement. So I believe that's what they're going to target and go after. And again, what I'm excited about is they're building something that can scale economically versus just like these Boston Dynamics things. Like, they're great. I see these things doing flips off of like scaffoldings, but I'm like, how much did that thing cost? And how many can you make within 30 days? No idea. I know Tesla's purposefully building something that can scale economically and can scale in volume.
Absolutely, Jeff. And what's the use case for a Boston Dynamic robot? What's the use case for gymnastics? There's no use case for a Boston Dynamic robot. I don't need a gymnastic robot. I need something to do useful. Why don't they do useful things instead of like dancing and gymnastics? Like, the whole approach is wrong. Tesla's actually, like, when I saw the video and it's at the table just moving, that could be done. Someone in a business could use that, just picking up something and moving over here, whatever it is, like Herbert's napkin thing or whatever. Like, it could be already doing this stuff. Where Boston Dynamics, I don't care about gymnastics. That has no use case. So I think
Herbert,
they're going the right way. Yeah.
Can you call on Harry right mid-chew, please?
What?
Harry for
Harry Bolts. Harry Bolts.
I know how to talk with my mouth full.
Okay, we'll wait for you, Harry Bolts, but you need to tell us what you thought about.
I can talk. Yes, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Do you want me to say something about the bot? Do you have
I mean, you were there. Just say anything. I mean, you were at the shareholder meeting.
Your impression, your overall impression, Farzad, were you impressed?
So my biggest takeaway from like being there is that it was very much a gathering of shareholders that are very long-term focused, and I think that was reflected in the Q&A session. I thought that was the best Q&A session at a shareholder meeting in the history of Tesla, I would say, because all the questions were very focused. They were long-term. They had some sort of purpose behind them, and it wasn't just your usual, what did you have for breakfast, Elon, or something that was completely inconsequential or didn't really matter to the company at all. So I thought that was a big takeaway for me, is that it was, you could feel it from the vibe. The people there really wanted to be there because they really love the company and they wanted to succeed long term. They don't really care about the stock price. They just want to confirm that where the company is going is where they think it's going. And I think Elon having a presence there, especially post Twitter announcement of the new CEO, and the fact that he agreed to trialing advertising. I sent out a tweet as soon as that happened, and I was like, somebody check on Gary Black and make sure he didn't faint from excitement, like somebody check his pulse and make sure he's okay. So that was really cool. Yeah. So it was just generally a very good presentation. I felt it was just very well done. And the more I think about it, what's really fascinating is that we had for the first time ever, Tesla quantified how they're thinking about the value of the robotaxi or full self-driving business for the business. And then when you put that within the context of, they think that bot will be the majority of the value long term. So like, there's a lot of math we have to do now. Now we know how they're thinking about it from a mathematical perspective. All of us that are sitting, behind our computer or doing YouTube, videos about where we think it's going to go, we were just kind of, we're doing one of these, right? Like we always are. Even the dudes on Wall Street are, freaking putting their fingers up, and they're wrong most of the time, right? But now we have actual numbers from the company on how they're thinking about the business. And usually when they have targets like these for their long-term aspirations, they're usually pretty good. Like 500,000 cars by 2020, when they set that in 2014, it came to fruition. We're going to be profitable with the Model 3. It came to fruition. Model Y is going to be the best-selling car in the world. It's coming to fruition, right? So they have a track record of when they set these numbers, when they put it out there in the wild, they usually perform. So from that perspective, it was really, really very exciting. And yeah, that's sort of my high level takeaway. There's other thoughts, but I don't want to hog the mic. But that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay, so we just talked about Tesla bot. We are so excited about that. I love what you just said there, Farzad. But let me tell you, what I'm even more excited about was when Elon said that I'm not going anywhere. And the reason I'm not going anywhere is because Tesla has a real lead in real world AI and general AI. And I'm going to be focusing on AI to make this happen. So he's going to make Tesla be known. It's like, who is it going to be known as a Tesla energy company by the end of this year? It'll be known as a Tesla bot company because of the progress, but very quickly it will be known as a Tesla AI as an AI company. And earlier, Jeff pointed out the PE ratios of AI companies. Anybody who calls themselves an AI company, but what he then said at the CNBC interview, which got me so pumped, I was just screaming, I was swearing like crazy everywhere, was because I've been talking about this for the last several shows. Every time I've been doing it, I've been saying that at some point Tesla could have a chat GPT moment. And he said that Tesla will have a chat GPT moment. This is a time when it took only 1 month. It took 1 month for, AI to come out to shock the world that it can accomplish things way more than it can anybody considered. Something very similar could happen with FSD, where at some point it gets so good that people realize this thing is inevitable. And that, yes, I'm not saying that, it needs to be robotaxi yet, but even supervised human-driven FSD, people will realize this thing is driving. It's not making the mistakes anymore. It's heading in this direction. Once that happens, this is a moment when the world will realize, okay, Tesla's onto something, and they'll start valuing FSD in the stock price. He then said, the other thing that got me excited so much was when he said that we will flip the script and we can beat ChatGPT. Okay, so Tesla is known for real world AI, the ability to understand the environment and then to act on it, to label what they're seeing. But ChatGPT is, of course, this kind of language model. It can understand language and be able to make decisions based on the context. And who's going to win? So I interviewed James Dalma, I interviewed Dave Lee, I've interviewed a number of folks asking him this question: is who's going to end up powering the bots? Is it going to be Tesla's real world AI, or is it going to be ChatGPT? Does it plop into a brain and make it happen? And he said, no, we could beat them at this game. And that's just made me feel better, because I did not realize, and that's the experts' analysis too, by the way. They've all answered to me telling me that you can take what Tesla's done in FSD, and because it's the whole system, it's all the things that they put in place. It's like supercomputers, it's neural nets. You can then do that to eventually do what ChatGPT. So basically, who's going to become it first? So Tesla can become ChatGPT before ChatGPT can do real world labeling and understanding of things. So we are becoming an AI company, and the primary reason Elon says he's going to stay at Tesla is because he's going to make Tesla an AI company.